In today's class, we will start with a new lesson in Geography, Unit 3, Components of Agriculture. Agriculture is a practice of farming that not only includes the cultivation of crops but also rearing of animals, birds, forestry, fisheries and other related activities. So all these activities comes under agriculture. In this lesson, we are going to see about the India's soil types. Soil is an essential factor in order to cultivate crops. So, we will see about the soil types in India and their distribution, importance of irrigation and multipurpose projects in India, importance of agriculture, livestock and fishing resources in India, and also the problems of farming in India. We have studied about all these topics in the lesson Physical Geography of Tamil Nadu. In that lesson, we concentrated only on the particular state Tamil Nadu. Here we are going to see about agriculture in India. Landforms, climate, soil and irrigation are the factors that determine the growth of agriculture. First we will see about the soils. Soil is the uppermost layer of the land surface, usually composed of minerals, organic matter, living organisms, air and water. Soils are generally formed by the weathering of rocks under different climatic conditions. Here, the weathering means it is the breaking down or dissolving of rocks and minerals on the earth's surface. When the rocks has been broken down, a process called erosion transports the bits of rock and minerals to various places. Soils are also formed by the deposition of agents of denudation. Denudation is the process that causes the wearing away of Earth's surface, that is the removal of the Earth's surface by moving water, ice, wind, waves, etc., and thus leading to reduction in elevation of landform. So, soil are formed either by the process of weathering of rocks or by the process of denudation. The soil varies greatly from one region to another. That is, you cannot see the same type of soil in all the places. The type of soil varies from region to region. The soil are said to be the non-renewable resource because it cannot be replaced immediately. If a soil is eroded, it takes about more than 300 years for the formation of 2 inch of soil. So therefore, soil is non-renewable resource and it is very precious. Grains in the soil are of 3 categories, namely clay, silt and sand types of soils. The Indian Council of Agriculture Research ICAR was set up in the year 1953. It divides the soils of India into the following 8 major groups. They are black soil, red soil, alluvial soil, forest and mountain soil, arid and semi-arid, that is the desert soil, laterite soil, peaty and marshy soil, saline and alkaline soil. The type of soil varies from region to region. Black soil, red soil and alluvial soil alone constitutes about 79.85% of the total soil in India. The remaining 21% of the soil are formed by the forest and mountain soil, arid and desert soil, laterite soil, peaty and marshy soil, saline and alkaline soil. We will see about each type of soil in detail. The first type of soil we are going to see about is alluvial soil. Alluvial soil are very fertile because they are the sediments deposited by streams and rivers. There are two types of alluvial soil, Kadar and Bangar. Kadar is the newer alluvium soil and Bangar is the older alluvium soil. Kadar is called as the newer alluvium soil because these soil are flooded almost every year. And new sediments are deposited by streams and rivers after they are flooded. After the old alluvium are flooded, newer alluvial soils are deposited. These alluvium soils are rich in potash, phosphoric acid, lime and carbon compounds, but they are poor in nitrogen. The nature of these alluvium soil, they are sandy, loam, silt and clay. They can retain moisture for a long time. These soil are found distributed along the Ganga and Brahmaputra river valleys. The plains of Uttar Pradesh, Uttaranchal, Punjab, Haryana, West Bengal and Bihar. The major crops grown in this alluvium soil are rice, wheat, sugarcane and oilseeds. Black soil. The black soil are derived from the basalts of Deccantra. Basalts means it is a dark rock that comes from the volcanoes or from the volcanic eruption. The soil is black in color due to the presence of titanium and iron. The black soil mainly consists of calcium and magnesium carbonates and it has high quantities of iron, aluminum, lime and magnesia. The soil is rich in potash, lime, aluminum, calcium and magnesium, but it is poor in nitrogen, phosphoric acid and humus. Humus is the organic content or the organic matter. The soil is sticky in nature when it is wet. It has a high degree of moisture retentivity. That is, it can hold the moisture in it for a long time. Moisture is the wetness, that is the Eerapadam in Tamil. Black soils are mainly found in Maharashtra and Malwa plateaus, Kathiawar Peninsula, Telangana and Rayalaseema, regions of Andhra Pradesh and northern part of Karnataka. The major crops grown in the black soil are cotton, millets, tobacco and sugarcane. Red soil. The red soil are formed by the decomposition of ancient crystalline rocks like granites and gneisses. Gneisses is a type of metamorphic rock. So, by the decomposition of these granites and gneisses, the red soils are formed. Red soils are rich in iron and magnesium. The color of the red soil is also due to the presence of iron oxide content in it. The red soils are deficient in nitrogen, humus, phosphoric acid and lime. Red soils are light in texture, it is porous, friable and it has a presence of limited soluble salts. The clay fraction of the red soils generally consists of cavolitic minerals. Kaolin means it is a type of clay, commonly called as China clay. The red soils are mainly found in the eastern parts of Deccan Plateau, in the southern states of Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and the Chotanagpur Plateau, which includes the state of Jharkhand. The major crops grown in the red soil are wheat, rice, cotton, sugarcane, and pulses. Laterite soils. Laterite soils are formed in the region where there is alternate wet and hot dry conditions prevail. That is, for some period of time, the climate will be very hot and the temperature will be very high, and after some period of time, it will have a very heavy rainfall. So, this conditions happens alternatively. The laterite soils are formed by the process of leaching. Leaching is the process which occurs during heavy rainfall. During high rainfall, the soil loses its water soluble nutrients along with the water. And also during the dry condition, the soil loses its humus, and thus the laterite soils are formed. The laterite soils are composed mainly of hydrated oxides of iron and aluminium. The laterite soil, which are found at high elevations or higher areas, are more acidic and therefore it cannot retain moisture. The laterite soil, which are found in the plains, are consist of heavy loam and clay and easily retain moisture. Laterite soils are found in Assam hill summit of Kerala and Karnataka and Eastern Ghats and region of Odisha. Laterite soil are rich in hydrated oxides of iron and aluminium. So therefore, the major crops grown in the soil are coffee, rubber, cashew nut and tapioca. Forest and mountain soils. These forest and mountain soils are found distributed along the coniferous forest belts of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand and Sikkim. They are also found in the Eastern Ghats and the Western Ghats. The major crops grown in the soil are coffee, tea, rice, maize, potato, barley, tropical fruits and various types of spices. Some of the common tropical fruits are mango, banana, papaya, guava, pomegranate, orange, etc. The forest and mountain soils are formed due to mechanical weathering caused by snow, rain, temperature variation. Weathering is a process of breaking the rocks into smaller pieces, which occurs due to heavy rainfall and temperature variation. These soils are deficient, that is, they have a very less content of potash, phosphorus and lime. The nature of the soil is light, sandy, thin and found with pieces of rocks. Their character changes with the parent rocks, that is, the nature of the soil or the character of the soil depends on the parent rock from which they are formed. These forest and mountain soils are very rich in humus. They are slow in decomposition. They decompose slowly so that these soil are acidic in nature. These soil differ from region to region depending on climate. Arid and desert soils. We know that the desert is a dry region. It is dry due to the occurrence of dry climate, high temperature and accelerated evaporation. So therefore, the soil becomes totally dry. Accelerated evaporation means the evaporation process takes place very quickly. The soil loses its water content due to high temperature and therefore it becomes dry. The soil also lacks humus content. Humus is the organic matter in the soil. Due to the lack of humus and due to the dryness in the soil, Cultivation of crops cannot be carried out in desert soils. Most of the desert soils are called as arid soils, which means arid means it is dry soil. These desert and arid soils contain high percentage of soluble salts, alkaline with varying degree of calcium carbonate and are poor in organic matter. They are rich in phosphate and very poor in nitrogen content. The nature of the soil is it is light in color. We have seen the desert soils in pictures. It is light in color. It has low humus. We know that it has very low content of organic matters, friable structures, that is they are not sticky in nature. Due to the lack of water content, it has a friable structure and low in moisture. These arid and desert soils are mostly found in Rajasthan, northern Gujarat and southern Punjab. Cultivation can be carried on up to some extent with the help of irrigation. Some of the crops which are grown in the soil are millets, barley, cotton, maize and pulses. Saline and alkaline soils. The saline and alkaline soils are also called as the salt affected soils because the salt content in these soil are very high. These saline and alkaline soils are formed due to ill drainage, which causes waterlogging. If there is no proper way to drain the water, it leads to excess water in the soil, which is called as waterlogging. Even the roots of the plants and trees also cannot respire due to excess of water. If there is a proper way to drain the water, the salt content in the soil could have been washed away along with the flow of water. So the first reason which causes the increase in salt content in the soil is due to ill drainage, which causes waterlogging. And the second reason is injurious salts are transferred from the subsurface to the topsoil by the capillary action. We know that water is trapped in between the rocks in the subsurface of the earth. In some places, the injurious salts from the subsurface of the earth is transferred to the topsoil by the capillary action. So, capillary action is nothing but it is a rise of water in a narrow hole or a tube against an opposing force such as gravity. For example, consider you are inserting a straw or a tube in a bowl filled with water. What happens? The water raises through the tube or the straw. This is an example of capillary action. So, due to the injurious salts which are transferred from the subsurface of the earth to the top of the soil by the process of capillary action is another reason which causes the salinization of the soil. Salinization is the increase in salt content of the soil. These saline and alkaline soils contains liberate sodium, magnesium and calcium salts and sulfurous acids. We know that the soils are formed by the process of weathering of rocks. Weathering is the splitting of rocks into number of pieces over a million of years. So, these saline and alkaline soils consist of undecomposed rock, that is, the rock which is not decayed, and it also consists of mineral fragments, that is, some pieces of minerals. These type of soil are found in Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka, and in the drier parts of Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, and Maharashtra. Peaty and marshy soils. Peaty and marshy soils are formed in the humid region, that is, in the wet region, from the organic matter. We know organic matter is the residues of dead plants and animals in various stages of decomposition. These peaty and marshy soils are found in the areas of heavy rainfall and high humidity. That is, high humidity means where the air holds a lot of moisture content in it. Peaty soils are black, heavy, and highly acidic. These peaty and marshy soils are deficient in potash and phosphate. It contains considerable amount of soluble salts and about 10 to 40% of organic matter and high proportion of vegetable matter, that is from the decomposition of the dead plants and animals. The nature of the soil contains considerable amount of soluble salts, as we have already seen. It also contains 10 to 40% of organic matter and high proportion of vegetable matter. These soils are found mostly in Kottayam and Alappuzha districts of Kerala and coastal areas of Odisha and Tamil Nadu, Sundarbans of West Bengal in Bihar, and Almora district of Uttarakhand. The major crops grown in this peaty and marshy soils are paddy and jute. Next, we will see the water holding capacity of sand, silt, and clay. Soil are made up of three main components: sand, silt, and clay. It is important to know the water holding capacity of the soil to determine how much water storage capacity the field has. Sand has much less water holding capacity than a silt. Clay has the ability to hold water molecules to the particle more tightly than sands or silt. Sands give up the water between the pores much easier than silts or clay. So, the water holding capacity of sand is very low when compared to silt and clay. In this map, you can see the distribution of major types of soil in India. Next, we will see about what is meant by soil degradation. Soil degradation is the decline in soil condition which is caused by its improper use or poor management. That is, the decline in quality of the soil is called as soil degradation. It is caused by improper usage or poor management of the soil. For example, consider in agriculture, if lot of pesticides or fertilizers are used, then the soil loses its fertility. Therefore, the quality of the soil is decreased, which leads to soil degradation. Not only that, the sewage and garbages that are left out from the industries and urbans also leads to the decline in soil condition. So therefore, soil degradation is defined as the decline in soil condition caused by its improper use or poor management. Next, we will see what is meant by soil erosion. Soil erosion is defined as the wearing away of topsoil. That is, the removal of topsoil which is caused by water or wind. Topsoil is the top layer of the soil and it is the most fertile layer because it contains the most organic nutrients rich materials. Next, we are going to see about the main problem of the Indian soils. The first main problem of the Indian soils is soil erosion. Soil erosion is the removal of the top layer of the soil either by wind or water. And second is the degradation of the soil. Degradation of the soil is the decline in the quality of the soil due to improper usage and poor maintenance of the soil. Third is the waterlogging. If there is excess amount of water in the soil due to poor drainage, then it leads to waterlogging. Due to the excess of water in the soil, the roots of the plants cannot respire. And the fourth one is the saline and alkaline. If the soil has more amount of salt content in it, then the soil is said to be saline and alkaline. And the fifth one is the salt flats. Salt flats are flat expanses of ground covered with salt and other minerals. They are found in deserts and they are formed naturally. So these are the five main problems of the Indian soils. Now we will see briefly on the types of soil erosion. The following are the types of soil erosion. They are sheet erosion, rill erosion, gully erosion, ravine and badland. Sheet erosion is the worst type of soil erosion because a uniform soil layer is removed from an area over the surface. Next is the rill erosion. This type of erosion starts as a water flowing over the soil surface and later it concentrates into smaller streams. Both these rill erosion and gully erosion are really problematic to the agricultural fields. Next is the ravine and badland. In both these places, vegetation is not possible due to infertility of the land and poor topography. According to a 2015 report of the Indian Institute of Remote Sensing (IIRS), the estimated amount of soil erosion that occurred in India was 147 million hectares. Next, we will see the methods of conservation and management of soil, that is, how to preserve and maintain the fertility of the soil. In that, first we are going to see about afforestation. Afforestation is the process of planting trees and sowing seeds in barren lands in order to create a forest. Second is the construction of dams. Dams are constructed across the rivers in order to store water and also to prevent floods. Third is the prevention of overgrazing. And the fourth one is the improved methods of agricultural practices. The following are the some of the methods of agricultural practices that has to be followed in order to reduce the percentage of soil erosion and also to improve the fertility of the soil. First one is the contour method. In this, the crops are planted across or perpendicular to the slopes in order to reduce soil erosion. And the second one is the rotation of crops. Farmers, instead of planting the same type of crops throughout the year in their field, they can plant different types of crops according to the season. This is called as the rotation of crops. Third one is the contour bunting. Contour bunting is a process of laying stones across the contour farming to prevent the runoff of water during rainfall so that soil erosion can be prevented. Next one is the strip cropping. It is the cultivation in which different crops are sown in alternate strips to prevent soil erosion. As you can see in the picture, maize crop is planted in a row. In the next row, you can see the soya bean, and in the third one, you can see the oat. So, therefore, different types of crops are planted alternatively. And in the third last one is the planting of shelter belts. Shelter belts is a process in which lines of trees or shrubs are planted to protect an area from fierce weather. Next comes the adopting the techniques of sustainable agriculture. The term sustainable agriculture means an integrated system of plant and animal protection practices that will over a long time satisfy human needs and thus enhance the quality of life for farmers and society as a whole. So these are the different conservation methods for soil management. Now we will have a short review on today's class. In today's class we studied about soil and also the different types of soil. They are alluvial soil, black soil, red soil, laterite soil, forest and mountain soils, arid and desert soils, peaty and marshy soils, saline and alkaline soils. We studied the characteristics of these soil and the formation, distribution and the major crops grown in each type of soil. And next we saw about the main problems of the Indian soil. They are soil erosion, degradation of soil, water logging, saline and alkaline, and salt flats. And we had a short discussion on the types of soil erosion. Finally, we studied about the methods of conservation and management of soils. In the next class, we will see about irrigation and the types of irrigation.